Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All2ReelToo. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Matthew Bill Gates gave me a microchip in my vaccine house. But I didn't take a vaccine yet, so I'm not sure how the microchip got into me. But,
Well, it was that night where I snuck into your house and, okay, I said too much already.
Oh, that was you! I thought that was a dream when I saw someone standing in my doorway. Okay.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
So I pricked you with a microchip.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yes. Added the microchip to you, and, now I know where you are.
Cool.
At all times.
Uh-oh.
Right now, you're at your house.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Talking to me on your phone.
I mean, you don't need a microchip to know that, but,
Damn it, I wasted that money.
Probably, yeah. A lot of it, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there was this guy on the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
He had a nice van.
Okay.
And it said microchips for sale.
That's strange, suspicious. Okay.
I mean, it was written, it was spelled wrong, but it was on a cardboard, sign. It was a white van. He did tell me if I came inside the van, I could have some candy. And see the puppy that he had inside.
Didn't anyone ever tell you not to do that? To talk to strangers, especially with vans and candy and whatnot?
But it was a nice puppy.
Oh, there was a puppy in the van, actually, for real?
Yeah, his name is Sparky.
Uh-oh. It's not Sparky, it's not a good...
So anyways, today on the show, we are covering the latest episode of WandaVision, episode 7, entitled Breaking the Fourth Wall.
Ooh.
Yes.
And that's not spooky like the last one, but it's still kind of, ooh.
Yes.
Mysterious. There you go.
Little spooky-ish.
Yeah.
So, in this episode, first off, I'd like to, read, first off, actually, let me ask you your initial thoughts here, Matthew.
I really liked the episode a lot. I thought it was probably one of the best ones we've had so far. Minus the last episode number 5, which are probably my favorites so far.
Yes.
The past 3 episodes have probably been my favorites. But all the episodes before that are important to build the story, which, some people were complaining about. Well, the story, it's like, yeah, it's called world building. That's the whole point. What do you think Marvel was doing for 11 fucking years from Iron Man 1 to Endgame? Think you could handle 9 weeks of world building if you could wait 11 years? Just saying. Because it's 52 weeks in 1 year. So 32 times 11 is, is over 500 weeks. So, I'm pretty sure 9 weeks, or 8 weeks rather, because episode 1 and 2 is uploaded all at once. So in actuality, it's 8 weeks and not with 9 episodes. So, be patient. Everything's gonna be fine. It's all gonna resolve itself. Okay, just chill out. Anyway, what was I saying?
Chillax, everybody, chillax.
Yeah, so I like the episode of this.
Me too. I loved it. I thought it was actually one of my favorites so far. Okay, so I asked some of our listeners online what they thought of this. Well, actually, I asked all of our listeners, and whoever responded is who I'm quoting here. Okay, listener Bill said, loved it. I don't want to spoil here, but I'm glad the reveal of the villain was not who everyone kept believing it was. Introducing a new hero. Vision forgetting he could fly seems silly, however. Which I have an issue with. I don't know, because I don't think he really fly. I don't really think he forgot he could fly.
Yeah.
Anyways, then Kermit said, everyone that geeked over the X-Men connection can now geek over the Fantastic Four connection, which I'm not really sure what that is about, because we really don't have a Fantastic Four connection here yet.
As far as I know, we don't. Yeah, that was kind of a mislead a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Or at least like a teaser, just like how they did with Pietro.
Yeah, I mean, there could be, possibly.
Yeah.
It says, it puts pressure on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier to expand the MCU, and the next 3 releases, Black Widow, which was supposed to come out last year, and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. So, yeah, which would be interesting to see how they expand on everything, and hopefully continue the momentum that's been built here, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Also, my sister, Christy, gave us a big heart emoji in response. So, I'm assuming that means she liked it. Maybe even loved it.
Maybe even loved it. So,
Yes. So, we've got, this episode, like I said, it was called Breaking the Fourth Wall. It's directed by Matt Shackman and written by Cameron Squires. And the showrunner is Jack Schaefer. This, so we start out with in a late 2000s setting sort of thing. We got like that they're kind of aping the shows like The Office and Modern Family and things of that nature. The opening credits have a Office kind of sound to them, to the music. The visuals are very happy endings. TV show that was produced by the Russo brothers, who directed Endgame and Infinity War and Civil War and a bunch of other stuff in the Marvel universe. They're so like in that the credits and happy endings just kept saying happy, 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 like this said Wanda, 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 in different fonts and stuff. There was at one point like a ransom note in the middle of this credits too. Just kind of like saying like get me out of here sort of thing or something. I can't remember exactly what it said. I wish I would have written it down, but I forgot to. So there was a at the end the font was in a Modern Family style font when it said WandaVision. So except for being in yellow, it was in red like Wanda's powers.
They're a very Modern Family.
Yes.
Yes.
Very modern. So then we had, it opened up and, basically Wanda is underneath a blanket. Well, she's in her bed and then she puts herself underneath the blanket. The blanket has hexagonal shapes on it, as does the other pillow that she's not using.
Mm-hmm.
Her pillow doesn't, however. So it has kind of like a flower type shape on it or something. And Vision, which in the other pillow, which we're assuming is Vision's pillow, has hexagonal shapes on it.
Yeah.
So Wanda seems very depressed here, and kind of out of it. The boys, Tommy and Billy, come in to wake her up, and they're talking about how their game keeps messing up, and we cut to a clip of them trying to play their video games, and the controllers keep changing from like modern like PlayStation or Xbox controllers into like back to all the way back to like 2600 Atari controllers. And
right. The only good Atari, by the way.
Yes. And I still have my 2600 somewhere.
Awesome.
Yeah. I don't know if it works, but I really hope it does, because I need to try to figure it out someday, because that'd be cool. Anyways, my 2600 that I got from my next door neighbors.
Wow.
Yeah, there was an old couple that used to live next door to me when I was a kid, and they bought it for their grandkids, and then their grandkids moved out of state, so they were never there a lot, so they gave it to me. I used to love playing Atari bowling.
Yeah.
Not sure why, but that's my favorite game of all time.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Just like, I just love the sounds of it. It goes, vroom, 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 vroom. and then when you get a strike, it goes, woo, 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 woo. Yeah, that was it. Okay. Back to, the plot here. Yeah, the game controllers keep changing to the point where they just change into Uno cards and are no longer game controllers at all. So they're telling their mom about this, and then Billy talks about how he keeps hearing these voices in his head, and that it's very loud and confusing and stuff.
Yeah.
Then Wanda goes downstairs to make breakfast for herself, and she's pouring a bowl of cereal into a red bowl, by the way. But yeah, she's opening up her fridge. Oh yeah, by the way, when she opened up her fridge, I noticed that one of the products in there was a Great Value product, which is a Walmart brand product. Yeah, just noticing. I don't know why. I thought that was interesting. Make it kind of realistic in a way, you know. So we're getting more to reality, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Instead of fictional,
right?
Totally just fully fictional brands. She's pouring a bowl of sugar snaps, which could be a reference to the snap, you know, or the snaps in general that happen in Infinity War and Endgame.
Right.
We've got on the front of the box there's a clown, which is foreshadowing, I think, the circus element that we've got going on in the show. We've also got plus, I mean, I also think the whole idea of like a clown is wearing makeup disguising themselves, and there's also that idea too.
Right.
There's on the back there's a maze with an elephant on it, which is, I think, symbolic of the fact that an elephant never forgets. I don't know. And then also the when she's pouring the milk into the cereal, the milk carton changes as well from like the controllers did, changes from a modern carton all the way back to a glass bottle. On the carton, however, there's a missing child on it, which I think could be either symbolic of the missing person that Jimmy Woo is looking for, or possibly the fact that children are missing and stuff, you know. We have, you know, the things keep changing there. Wanda's basically really depressed, you know, like we said. She's she ends up having Agnes comes over, and Agnes offers to take the kids and babysit them.
Yeah, for some me time. Oh, by the way, too, also, when Wanda removed the covers from her bed, she was wearing the same clothes as the night previously, which just normally doesn't happen, because she's usually, it's like a new setting and everything like that.
Yeah, and she usually changes everything.
So that kind of indicates too that like her magic is being spent, like it's kind of making her tired, and like she's maybe perhaps pushing herself too far, that she can't like fully recuperate from the magic of. Because remember the first 2 episodes, she didn't really use that much magic at all. It was just like parlor tricks and like making her dishes float and, you know, stuff like that, not expanding the town by like 16 miles or whatever. Like,
you know what's also interesting too? Somebody pointed this out online and I didn't notice it until now. But at the beginning of every episode where it says previously on WandaVision, each episode, her voice gets more complacent and depressed.
Oh.
Yeah, like it starts out like in the like second episode where she says previously on WandaVision, she's really happy. And by the time this one happens, it's kind of like previously on WandaVision.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it just gets she gets more like depressed in each one.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Like things are kind of unraveling. So they're even doing it on that. That's just weird. You know what I mean? Yeah, because somebody on a video that I saw on YouTube, I don't remember who it was, but they played each one of them, and you can totally hear it when you hear them back to back. How depressed she gets in each one.
Oh.
So Agnes takes the kids over to her house. What's happening now then, Matt?
So they kind of go to what's going on with Vision as well now. He wakes up and he's surrounded by a carnival or like a circus. Yeah. And then he wakes up and stuff, and then this guy shows up and he's like, "Are you the clown?" And you know, well, at least you got your makeup on. You know, we're you know, you're late for your rehearsal with the escape artist, and then the escape artist is none other than our Darcy, and she's got like chains around her, you know, tied to a car or whatever, chained to a car.
Yeah.
And then like Vision, like, you know, there's like a miscommunication because he like points at her and is like locking eyes with her and walking to her, and she's like, can I help you, creeper? And then he's like, it sounds like he's doing some cheesy pickup line, like, you don't remember me from last night? You know, we locked eyes with each other. We had like an unspoken understanding. She's like, hard ass. And then he's like, no, wait up. And he's like, kind of like running after her, like all like skipping and stuff like that. And then it kind of alternates between that to like, cause Billy and Tommy, they're at Agnes's house. And then Billy says that he likes it there. And Agnes is like, you know, touched like, oh, I'm glad. And he's like, why? Because, you know, Senor Scratchy is such a good listener, you know, her rabbit.
Yeah.
And, which, you know, Scratch was a old nickname for the devil at a certain time in this world. Anyway, gotta throw it out there.
Also in our world, like, no. Too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
so he goes, no, it's quiet here. And he's like, you're quiet on the inside. And she kind of has like this weird look on her face, like, that's kind of a creepy thing to say, you know? and then Tommy's like, is mom going to be okay? And she's like, kind of looks worried. And she's like, and then she kind of changes beat. Like, oh, of course, she's super mom. There's not anything that she can't do. Which is interesting. And then like, it goes to like the whole Modern Family thing. And she's like, Ralph says that I sugarcoat things, but you tell a 10-year-old that his mother is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, or whatever. Which is weird because that's kind of an old saying too.
Yeah.
Like cuckoo, that was like a jingle for Cocoa Puffs, wasn't it? I mean,
I think they still use it, but yeah, it's just, yeah.
Kind of almost a politically incorrect way of talking about mental illness, but
yeah.
but whatever. It's Modern Family, I guess. And but so it kind of switches. It kind of goes back from that to Wanda kind of having like her personal day to herself of like you mentioned, all the glitches, like the fireplace turns into like an old style, one from like the 50s or whatever, or even older, really, that looked like an old like 1800.
Yeah, I mean,
type of.
It's the same fireplace from the first episode. So
okay,
yeah, and then like the stairs change it and different things like they keep changing. Like in the TV ends up changing too when she's watching like news, and then it changes, and then even the guy on the TV changes to an old, black and white guy.
Yeah, the old TV with the antenna, and also too, right when she was pouring cereal for herself. And she was like listening to the radio. It said, "Tune back into WNDA."
Yeah.
Or maybe it was a news channel saying that. But
yeah.
So it sounds like Wanda, WND. And then so yeah, it goes back to Vision. Vision wakes up Darcy, and then she kind of takes a moment to get her bearings back and stuff. And then he's telling her what happened, and she's they decide to do like the buddy road trip type of part of the show, and she's like explaining to him, like, he's like, so let me understand, so Wanda killed me. He's like, yeah, but you kind of asked her to do it. He's like, why would I do that? It's like, well, to save the universe, well technically half the universe. He's like, well, did it work? And she's like, it did, but then the bad guy rewound time and killed you himself. But to set up the context, it would take, basically implying like all the movies that, led to like 20 different movies or whatever.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he like jims the camera like in The Office. Like,
yeah. He looks at it and he's like, what?
It's a little smirk on his face. Like Jim would.
On The Office, yeah. For people that don't watch that show. Which is probably nobody.
Right, exactly. It's like one of the most successful shows in history.
Yeah. If you don't know who Jim on The Office is, you've got something wrong with yourself.
Yeah.
Speaking of The Office, I mean, Randall Park was on an episode of The Office. So
that's right.
Yeah.
He played Jim, didn't he?
Yeah, he played Asian Jim.
That's right. Because wasn't that like a prank to make Dwight seem like that was him the whole time or something?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was one of the best pranks on that show. Anyways, so yeah, we've got they're while they're traveling too, we've got the idea they keep getting blocked on their way to get back to the house by construction and red lights and other things. Kids walking down the street, like a
there's no school in sight.
Yeah, it's kind of it's very Truman Show like. Because like when Truman's trying to escape the town that he's in, and they keep putting up barriers so he can't travel any further.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. And then he eventually even got on a bridge or something, or a boat, and then something happened where he couldn't go on that. I forgot what happened, but
yeah, he had memories. I gotta watch that movie again. It's been a while. Anyways, we on the outside though, what we got going on here is we've got Monica and Jimmy. They meet with a loyal sword personnel, which I don't think is the person that they were talking about, who's like the engineer that she was talking about that was going to meet with them.
No, it was because she said my guy.
Yeah.
Plus two that implied that this was someone that was not really part of the sword agency. It was more of like a different contact, you know.
Well, I think she was a sword agent too.
Was it? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Because she was loyal to Monica's mom, Maria. So.
No, I mean her. I'm talking about the person she said that.
Her contact. Yeah, I don't think that was.
I'm saying I don't think that person was part of sword. I think just someone she knew or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's happened to be.
There's a theory I saw online that the woman that we did see is actually that daughter of of Ben Mendelsohn's character from Captain Marvel.
Oh,
in disguise as a human, but
interesting.
That could be possibly, but who knows? But they're basically they bring this really cool truck that's also hexagonal shaped. This vehicle that should be able to cross the barrier. The mission, however, is unsuccessful as half the vehicle transforms into a pickup truck as it goes through. Where Monica can't get through to the other side using that. We do see, like, while she's in there, the really cool suit that she's wearing. It's like a kind of looks like an astronaut's type suit. And it's very 2001: A Space Odyssey. Which, in the cinematography and in the way that it looks, with the lights flashing on the screen and everything. And, which is interesting because that whole movie is about, like, rebirth and things of that nature, too. So,
right.
I don't know, basically, Monica gets out and actually realizes, she decides to go in herself. Just walk in. And, we see this really cool thing on the screen where you see her going through and you see all the different versions of her that we've seen so far.
Right.
And then we hear, like, these voices, kind of like we did when she was coming out of the blip. We hear Captain Marvel, we hear Maria Rambeau, we hear, Nick Fury. Different people talking to her, like, things from from Captain Marvel, basically. And,
yeah, they showed Carol's name on the, subtitles or whatever.
Yeah. So, what happens then once she gets in there?
Oh, man. So, she, like, goes through, like, this weird, like, trippy thing where, like, they're making all these weird, like, glitchy sounds and noises, like, for her breaking, like, the sound barrier and stuff like that. And, she ends up, finally breaking through. She break on through to the other side. Sorry.
Yeah.
Every time you say that, I'm thinking of that song. She gets through, and then her eyes are like completely blue.
Yeah.
Or like not even blue, almost like a turquoise kind of bluish color.
Yeah, almost glowing.
Yeah, almost glowing, and then for like about like 10 seconds, everything looks like a spectrum. Interesting.
Yeah.
Because in the comic books, she was called Spectrum for a while. Anyway,
and the
like
thing
she sees everything.
The thing she's reading things onto in the truck originally is a spectrometer, or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. Anyways, so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that could be a hinting or a nod to her comic book origins.
Yeah.
But then again, though, she's been a bunch of things. She's been Photon, just like her mother, and also Captain Marvel for a while as well. So,
yeah,
lots of different characters that she's been in different stories, I guess, different versions or whatever. Unfortunately, I haven't read a lot of these. Watching these kind of shows and movies, though, has actually made me a lot more interested in reading comic books, actually, because I never really did that as a kid. That was not, my thing. I like sports a lot, like baseball and video games. That was pretty much my two main things as a kid, was baseball and video games. So I never really, so I'm like finally as an adult, pushing 40, suddenly getting into comic books and stuff. But
nothing wrong with that.
No, not really. I'm sorry, but like comic books and games and stuff, that thing is now becoming an all age thing. Like it's not associated with like a particular age group anymore. But anyway, so I digress. But so like she sees all of these she sees things from the perspective of like she sees like these wiggly things, like where the power, like where the telephone poles are, and like she could see like basically like where the energy is like coming from for like 10 seconds, and then her eyes return to her normal color, and then she goes and runs off to tell Wanda what's going on. But it was weird because for a split second, Wanda seemed more surprised and angry when she got there, and then like all of a sudden she switched to anger, which is like interesting right there. Like, because I know like Super Carlin Brothers had a theory video like a few days ago about wondering if like there's two different Wandas, or if she has kind of like a quote split personality, which that concept itself is kind of outdated, but whatever. Like the idea that you literally have a complete split personality is like very, very few people actually.
Yeah. Well, there is the dissociative identity disorder, which actually does exist. Which I mean, most people would refer to it in the past as like a split personality, but it's actually, dissociative identity disorder, where you can actually, it does exist. Which is interesting because I mean, I think the best example of that on television recently was on The Flash. I think in the way that, even though it's not really a true dissociative identity disorder, but the fact that Caitlin is also Frost.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's been a while since I watched that episode, but or those episodes where she's. But in those episodes, though, she still like knows about the other person, though, and it's still.
Yeah, actually, a lot of times with the dissociative identity disorder, they do know about each other.
Right, that's what I'm getting at, though. But like a lot of what I'm saying, though, a lot of like the old TV shows, like and stuff in movies, like they would actually make it seem like it was literally like completely like a different person, like who like literally took over, like their memories were different, like there was no like sense of like I'm actually this other person as well, like it was literally like a different person completely. Yeah.
Well, like in,
back in the 80s, shit like that.
I think in the true dissociative identity disorder, the way it acts, I mean, I know this is kind of a tangent we're going on, but I think the way it is they actually do have separate personalities, but the one personality is aware of the other one.
Gotcha.
Knows that the other one's there, and a lot of times, like, one of the personalities, I mean, because it could be multiple personalities as well, but it's not multiple personality disorder. Right. It's, or a split personality. It's more like a, like, they have, it's there to protect each other and stuff like that. Or sometimes, like, the one identity will protect the other identity. Anyways,
okay.
Do you want to take a quick break here, Matt?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll come back with some more about this here. Not about dissociative identity disorder, but about the show. Right after this. We'll be right back.
What is Gen X? What is the silent generation? What do generations have in common? Hi, I'm Trish the Dish from the Gen X Voice podcast, and I invite you to listen to conversations I have with folks from different generations, backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences in an attempt to see what connects rather than divides us. Even though Gen X has been called slackers, Karens, or not mentioned at all in some cases, we are the bridge generation, so I feel compelled to do my part to destroy ageism by bringing all these voices together. And, as a bonus, each guest gets to answer some 80s questions at the end of each show. So download and listen to Gen X Voice today on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's see how much we have in common after all.
And we are back. So, anyways, we've got this whole thing where, back to Darcy and Vision. They're getting blocked by things. Eventually, Vision does realize he's like basically like, what the fuck am I doing here? I can fly.
Yeah.
And he realizes he can,
Exactly.
he realizes he can fly, and he's just like, hey, I'm gonna fly over there. We don't see what happens after that, really. But,
No, but it's just like, he's talking to the camera, and he's like, wait a minute. Which is weird, though, because he talked... Oh, go ahead,
I was gonna say, and he just leaves Darcy there, though. But
Right, but what's interesting, though, is that he's having an interview with the person, like, he's sitting down, on an actor's chair, basically.
Yeah.
Like, having an interview, and that's when he comes, like, to the conclusion, like, wait a minute, this is absurd. I should be there for my wife, and he takes off his microphone, he gets, like, tripped up on the thing, but then it goes back into the RV or whatever, and then that's when he gets up and flies, so it's like, was that all in his head, like, having that interview?
Well, that's what it is. It's kind of like, in reality TV and on shows like The Office and Modern Family and stuff, a lot of times when they do those, like, talking heads to the camera, it's emphasizing what's going on inside your head at that moment.
Oh, okay.
So I think that was kind of a symbolism of that, because, I mean, obviously they record that stuff after the events happen. Because like if you're watching something like The Bachelor or whatever, they'll have the event going on, and then they'll cut to the girl talking to the camera and saying, and then I thought that, I was going to get the rose from Johnny, but I didn't, or whatever. So,
right, exactly.
It's, but, obviously that's what was going on in her head, but then they take them out later and they interview them and, then splice that in so you kind of know what was going on in their head at the time. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of absurd in a way, but anyways,
Oh, speaking of which, too, about the interview. So,
yeah.
Same thing happened to Wanda, where the interviewer actually talked to her and goes, what do you think you might deserve this? Because she was talking about just how she's, like, fraying, she can't control a lot of the stuff lately, everything's glitching out, like, and then the guy's like, what do you think that you might deserve this? And she's like, what? You're not supposed to talk.
and the thing is, it sounds like a guy a little bit, but it could be a woman with a deep voice.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So that's interesting. Yeah, so like Darcy's like, when Vision flies out, he's like, okay, I guess I'll just meet you there then.
Yeah. So, what else is going on here?
Oh boy. So as that's going on, we also have the, so Monica, she confronts Wanda at her house. Wanda at first doesn't really seem angry. She's more of just surprised, like, how did you get back in here? But then she tells him about Vision, and she just gets like white hot with rage and like expels her again from the house. And then, she eventually tries to throw Monica down on the ground, but then when she lands, this blue energy stuff like comes out of her shoes, like her feet, and then her eyes become blue again. And then Wanda's like, kind of like afraid, surprised or whatever that she's got like powers of her own or whatever. And then, cause she's used to just being able to bully people for the past few weeks with her powers, and now suddenly she's got someone that, can match her. So like a typical punk ass bitch. She's like, oh no, I actually have someone that could actually be my equal all of a sudden. That's not fair, even though by definition that is the literal definition of fairness. But okay, anyway, and then she's like, you're a liar or whatever. And then Monica says, the only lies I have been telling are the ones that you put in my mouth. And, you can go ahead and kill me if you want. And then she hesitates, and then Monica says that's the difference between her and Hayward, because Hayward would just burn this entire town to the ground just to get what he wants, which is Vision. And just as, she's trying to reason with her, Agnes is watching from her window and decides to intervene, and then says, like, poor Wanda's had enough, basically being that kind of mothering type of, vibe that she has with Wanda sometimes. Like, poor Wanda's had enough, and tells her, to run along, dear, and takes Wanda into her house, and Wanda, she offers her a cup of tea. Wanda sees 2 plates with like a half-eaten peanut butter jelly sandwiches, and sinister music starts playing, and she says, "Where are the twins?" And then Agnes says, "Oh, they might be playing down in the basement or something." So Wanda...
We also, the creepiest part of the whole thing is that Yo Gabba Gabba is playing on the TV.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Yo Gabba Gabba, that weird ass show.
But then also we have, there's a big cicada on the curtain.
Right. Yeah, fuck it, because that's not ominous as shit.
Yeah, and cicadas are actually symbolic of rebirth.
Right, yeah, exactly. And there's one of them, which they usually fly in like in huge swarms and shit. And they make that cool sound. Plus, too, Cicada was a villain in The Flash. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool season of that with, what's his name? I always forget his name.
The actor?
Yeah, the guy who plays Cicada.
Damn it, I'm blanking on his name, too.
From American Pie. Plus, he was in,
Chris,
yeah, Chris something. Damn it. Whatever. A nice guy. Your dad met him.
Yeah.
And, at the Mud Hens game or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He used to date Katie Holmes years ago.
Yeah. Oh well. Cool guy. Sorry I can't remember your last name, but, good actor, good guy. Anyway, that reminded me of Cicada. So anyway, Wanda, walks slowly down into the basement with this sinister music playing. And, after a few steps,
Klein.
The basement.
Klein.
What's that?
Klein. Chris Klein.
Oh, Chris
Sorry.
Klein. Yeah. Well, Klein, Klein, I can't think of the word. Rhymes. God damn it. What's going on with us? It's like our reality is being rewritten and we can't, and we're like slowly descending into someone else's reality. Anyway, so she goes down to the basement and, things look like a normal basement for a bit. And all of a sudden, though, there's vines growing everywhere, and Wanda doesn't apparently seem that this is, like, too strange for her. Like, I mean, she's kind of seen it strange, but, like, a normal person would be freaked out once they realize a basement is full of vines and weird, like, glowing red shit, and it looks like some, like, ancient temple. You think that a normal person would be in that situation and be like, I should probably get out of here. No, she's just kind of walking around.
So,
and then
you've never been in a basement,
sees,
basement that looks like that?
No, I've never been to a basement full of vines and, like, magical artifacts and the weird glowy red shit. And then, something that looks like a big spell book that's, like, glowing.
Shit.
And
I had weird friends as a kid then.
Well, I guess so, because, I've never encountered that before.
Yeah, I mean, I went down to the basement to play video games in my friend's basement, and it looked just like wait. No, joking.
Or just full of vines.
Yeah.
Just full of vines and shit. I mean, hey, some of those vines are hard to get out,
And I never did find that Sega Genesis in there. I don't know what the hell was going on. I just kept looking.
Wow. So then we hear the door shut, and then Agnes walks in, and she goes, Wanda, you didn't think that you were the only magical girl in town, did you? And then she's holding Scratch, by the way, when she says that, which is interesting.
Senior Scratchy.
The name is Agatha. Senior Scratchy, yeah. And then she goes, the name is Agatha Harkness. So nice to finally meet you. And then her eyes turn violet, and then it makes Wanda's eyes turn violet. And it's like, oh shit. You know? Which, by the way, I don't agree. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, I don't agree with that person that commented saying that the villain didn't turn out what everyone was saying. Well, pretty much everyone was saying it was going to be Agatha Harkness. So,
well, a lot of people were saying Mephisto, but the thing is, it still could be Mephisto.
Well, yeah, she works with Mephisto, though, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever, okay. Who knows?
Since the first episode, everybody was saying that it was Agatha Harkness. So,
which, you know, then again, that person might not have been watching all these theory videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So, you know, we
can't say anything. Slack. Yeah, we don't want to, you know. But, anyways, then we get the, we get the opening credits to a TV show.
Yeah.
With a theme song called Agatha All Along. And,
right.
and then we see the, we see basically that she was behind all of these different things that happened, including Pietro and, basically, she was behind, you know, Pietro. She also killed Sparky, as we learned.
Yeah, she's like, I killed Sparky too. And like cackles, laughs like a witch. Oh God. I knew she killed Sparky.
Oh, I did too. I had a feeling. Yeah. And it's like, cause I think she was doing it to try to get Wanda to bring her back to life, or get one of the kids to do it or something, you know? Or get the kids to age up.
Yeah, like to test their powers, basically, or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, but, so, that theme song was it kind of reminded me of, like a 50s type of, I don't know.
It was kind of like Munsters or Addams Family-ish in a way. And the font was very Munsters in the beginning. Yeah. So we also had we had a commercial in this as well.
Oh yeah.
For an antidepressant called Nexus. Here, the antidepressant called Nexus, and we have like the narrator says, feeling depressed like the world goes on without you? Do you just want to be left alone? Ask your doctor about Nexus, a unique antidepressant that works to anchor you back to your reality. Or the reality of your choice. And then it goes, side effects include feeling your feelings, confronting your truth, seizing your destiny, impossible more depression. You should not take Nexus unless your doctor has cleared you to move on with your life. Nexus, because the world doesn't revolve around you. Or does it? Yeah. So,
great commercial. Still played by the same woman that was in all the other commercials.
Yeah,
too.
And then we have the guy in there as the like pharmacist.
Right.
Yeah, it was all they were in all the commercials except for last week. Which they did not appear in because that was the animated one. So
right, yeah.
Yeah, in the comics, a Nexus being, which Wanda is in the comics, is someone who's the same in all realities. So, like in a multiverse, Wanda was the Nexus of her world that connected to all the other worlds.
Right, there's not Wanda from Earth 3 or whatever, she's the
same in every Earth. So,
right, yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
So there's not like different versions of herself all running into each other or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, gotcha.
So, and then like, it's, so there's a lot to unpack there and stuff in that. And so I think that we're going to find out more about that in the next couple of weeks. A couple of stray things before we go to another break here. Earlier on in the episode, Agnes asks for Wanda to look at her mole. In fiction throughout history, a witch's mole often meant that they were being controlled by the devil, or that they had some kind of connection to the devil. The way that Monica gets her powers when she goes through the scene is very reminiscent of the way that Carol Danvers got hers in Captain Marvel. So,
right, yeah.
Yeah. Also, we do have the first mid-credit scene in this episode.
Right.
So what happens there?
Oh, well, Monica, she's going back to the house after, being rebuked by Agnes, and she opens up like a what do you call it? Like not a trap door, but like a
it's kind of like a cellar door sort of thing.
Cellar door. Also, too, a car's parked in the driveway that kind of looked like Iron Man's suit a little bit, or at least like the first one. It was like red and gold.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm not sure if his old suit was red and gold or if it was just red, but I thought
it was. I mean, like his first like major one was like red and gold.
Okay, yeah. So the car has kind of got that kind of color scheme, and then and she opens the cellar door, and like she sees like the vines, all like violet kind of color again, like kind of energy basically coming from these vines, and then there's this guy standing behind her. I'm not sure if it was Pietro or someone else actually.
It was. It
was okay. He's wearing like a hipster cap, and he's like Snoop. He's gonna Snoop or something like that, and then then it just ends.
Yeah, it was totally Evan Peters at least.
Okay,
if that is Pietro, who knows who he is? I'm just saying.
So I had a question about that. So is he even a real person or just an illusion? Because when they showed the Agatha scenes, she was like doing like a spell, and then his like he just sort of appeared through like magic, like so.
I have a few theories on him. I don't know if he's being controlled by her, but I mean, like in the comic books, she does have a son.
Okay,
could possibly be him. There is a character with the name Scratch as well, so you never see Senior Scratchy and him in the same scene.
You don't, and also too that guy that is always around, like right when Sparky
the mailman guy, the delivery guy.
Yeah, he's always delivering something. So he was the mailman then, and then he's always by Agnes, it seems like, really close by. So my theory is that you never see that guy and the rabbit in the same time. So I'm starting to wonder if he is that rabbit and he could just change forms or whatever. And I have a feeling that guy might be Mephisto. That's just my personal theory. Because he's always around Agnes whenever there's like a big thing going on, like Sparky, because that was like a big life event. And then
I think he could be that, or he could just be like a minion of Agatha.
Yeah, that could be it too, just like a follower of her or something. But
do you want to take a quick break here, Matt, and then talk about some trivia and then our speculation for the future episodes and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, we'll be right back, folks.
It's the ninja from the Ask the Angry Ninja Show saying, come listen to the show. We got the Ninja Wife to give you movie reviews. We got the Conscript to give you the ninja news. And we got the Battle to talk about your sports. And as always, it is the Ask the Angry Ninja Show. So ask me a question, and we'll give you the ninja knowledge you need for your ninja life. Search for us anywhere you get your podcast from. Just search for the Ask the Angry Ninja Show and enjoy the show.
And we are back, folks. Hope you enjoyed those ads or whatever they were. Anyways, so, okay, back to the, little bit of our speculation here. Before we get to trivia. The mailman now has a rabbit on his hat, which could mean that maybe he's Senior Scratchy.
Right.
But I do believe there was a scene where they were both in the same shot.
Okay.
In one of the episodes. So I'm not sure. But, or it just could be like some kind of, thing like that. And he's wearing kind of a purplish outfit with yellow on it, and purple is kind of the color of Agatha.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the name of the company that he's delivering for now is called Presto, which is a magic word.
Mm-hmm.
Like Presto Changeo and, stuff like that.
Right.
It also means fast, but, just interesting. Could be a possibility that maybe he and, Pietro are one and the same. With the fast aspect. But I don't know.
Right.
That's just something that just popped in my head right now. See, my thing is I think that I don't know the point of bringing in Evan Peters as Quicksilver if he's not somehow connected to the X-Men movies. So I'm not sure, but it could just be just to throw us off.
Yeah, I think that could be it. Just they're kind of playing because they know, modern shows, especially superhero shows. But although I wouldn't really consider this show to be a superhero show, to be honest, it's much more than that. To be frank, I think it's a good thing actually because it's going beyond.
Can I still be Mike?
Yeah.
Or do I have to change my name to Frank?
You could make maybe Frank your middle name or something.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I totally lost my.
Sorry. So basically the whole idea of Quicksilver, something. Yeah. Like something about these shows you were saying.
Something about the show, something. Yeah. That's why you listen to this podcast, is for us to say something and, stuff and
then me to make Matt lose his train of thought. And then,
now I remember what I was going to say. So the shows now almost expect us, the audience, to basically come up with theories. So they're kind of they're almost engaging with us. Even when they did the Agatha song and she's like, oh, by the way, I did kill Sparky. It's almost like they knew that people would be speculating that, and they wrote that later on to reveal. So it's almost like, in a sense, it's breaking the fourth wall, if you will.
Yeah, basically.
That they're telling us, the writers are telling us essentially, haha, we knew that you were speculating that, and guess what? Yeah, that's what happened. So it's TV has become more interactive in that sense, which is really cool in my opinion.
Yeah, it's interesting because since things like Lost and everything, we've had, and since the internet's come along, they realize that everybody's going to speculate everything, so we might as well fuck with the audience.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want to get to trivia here?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. So this episode is an homage to the mockumentary sitcoms The Office, Modern Family, and Arrested Development. It's the first episode in the series where Wanda and Vision share no scenes or dialogue with each other. Even the opening credits showcase title cards with just Wanda's name on them. It isn't until the final title card where Wanda and Vision's names appear together in order to display the series name WandaVision. The agents of S.W.O.R.D. that have been changed into circus performers have a new logo on their car doors, and the acronym has been changed to Spectacular World of Rapturous Diversions.
Wow.
The strong man who confronts Vision at the circus, formerly the sword base, is also the agent who did not help Darcy with her equipment, nor gave her any coffee in We Interrupt This Program. So he's just an asshole.
Yeah, he was in this episode too.
Yeah, we talked about this where it's there's the title of the episode is Breaking the Fourth Wall, which is, symbolic of both them breaking the fourth wall, also the talking to the camera, and where Monica attempts to break through the wall of the hex.
Right.
We also the other couple of stray things that I noticed too before I continue with the continue with this trivia is that at one point Wu learns that Hayward was trying to use Vision as a weapon. That's what Darcy had found out when she was hacking. So Wu mentions that at one point. So that's kind of important for future episodes. So we do know that Hayward did have kind of possibly nefarious, actions in his mind. But also we do have, it could just be that he's thinking of ways to protect the world. So.
Right, but still, he's kind of like going rogue a little bit, doing so.
I think that's the only other stray thing, observation I had from this episode. Okay, we have Darcy insists on adding a hula girl to her dashboard, and that's just like Sky used to do on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that's interesting.
Wow.
So it's kind of a, interesting thing. Because there's still speculation. People don't know. I mean, I don't know if this is going to happen, but a lot of people are convinced that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is no longer canon. But
okay,
it could be, but they're just in a different timeline, is my feeling on things. Because there's certain things, like the first few seasons of the show are definitely in concert with the movies, but then after that it kind of goes on its own direction.
Okay. So, that's interesting, yeah.
So I'm not sure.
I never really watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet.
I've watched every episode and I loved the show. It was great. A lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna start watching it.
Yeah, it's an amazing show. Anyways,
cool.
It gets better each season too, in my opinion. So if you haven't watched that, I highly recommend it. If you go through any kind of, we're probably not going to have any kind of Marvel withdrawals coming up because we've got other shows coming up after this one. So, but if you ever do, have your Marvel withdrawals, watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Wanda has cans of Kane Cola in her fridge, named after the production manager, Mary Kane. The Agatha All Along theme song is actually sung by Kathryn Hahn, who plays Agatha.
Oh, wow.
So, Agnes's house in this episode, Agnes, aka Agatha, is actually the same house as Samantha Stevens in Bewitched at the Warner Brother Ranch, a subtle nod to Agnes's true self, because
Oh, wow.
You know, she was a witch. So it's the same exact, the exterior house is the same house. The interior is different, but yeah. As we've talked before, the Nexus pharmaceutical ad ties to the Marvel Comics. Nexus beings are individual entities unique to all multiverses and can affect probability and thus the future, thereby altering the flow of the universe time stream. Yeah, and Wanda Maximoff is one in the comics. This is the only episode with a mid-credits scene, and that's all we got really for trivia this week. Any major speculation you have for what's going to happen in the next couple episodes here, Matt?
Oh, wow. I don't know, but I'm really psyched about the next 2 episodes. Hopefully, those episodes will be a bit longer because we finally got introduced to who Agnes really is. So hopefully, you know, it won't be just like 2 short episodes and then we're one and done. So hopefully, these will kind of maybe get into her history a little bit. I was starting to wonder if maybe if she's like experimenting on the kids a little bit or something, because it looked like there was like 2 like I don't know what they were, what you would call them, like containers. I'm not sure if that's the word, but like what else glowy orange things were. So I'm wondering if that's where she's got, you know, the kids like in like a suspended state or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I could speculate is I'm not sure if I understood this correctly or not, but if does Wanda even have powers of her own, or was this Agatha the whole time, like watching Wanda, like whenever Wanda was going to use magic, was she just like doing it at that right moment so that made Wanda think she was actually practicing magic? I don't know if I understood that.
I'm pretty sure Wanda has her own magic, and I think, but I think somehow Agatha is like manipulating her in certain ways. But she does say you didn't think you were the only magical girl in town.
Right. Okay.
So that implies that they both have magic, in my opinion. Yeah.
So I'm wondering then if Agatha already lived there to begin with, and so like Wanda basically walked into a trap essentially, like because like Agatha's like, oh, some other witch thinks she's got power. This should be fun, you know, type of thing.
Yeah.
Or who knows? I mean, because it said that at one point in the comics that she did live. Well, she lived in New York, but I'm not sure if it was near New Jersey, New York, or whatever.
Yeah.
But that was comic books. This is a totally different.
Yeah.
This seems totally different. I don't know. I wonder. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, there's a few questions I have here. Is like, okay, first off, or things that I noticed too, like the aspect ratio does change when Wanda entered the basement. So I think the basement is outside of the hex. Or underneath the hex.
Okay.
Or underneath the hex where it's not under Wanda's control. So there's something going on there. So that might be why Agatha is able to still have control herself. I want to know what the deal with the spell book is. If it's, you know, if that's a spell book or what it is, what kind of book it is. Because there's numerous books in the comics that it could be, or it could be something completely made up for the show. I still want to know what the deal with Pietro is. And I hope we find that out soon.
Who he is.
What his deal is. Maybe he's Mephisto. Maybe he's Agatha's son. Maybe he's just one of her henchmen. Maybe he's not even real. Who knows what the deal is, you know? And why the hell he looks like Evan Peters and not the other Pietro, you know, not Aaron Taylor Johnson, you know? It's like, what the hell?
This is really confusing. This episode has left so many questions. The end of this episode alone, has left us with so many questions about what's going to happen now.
And I mean, in the episode at one point too, the kids ask, something about Uncle P, and Wanda says, "That's not your uncle."
Right.
So she knows something's up. So.
Yeah. She knows because for a while she was willing to believe that was him, just like in a different form. But then after he basically told her that like his purpose is just to kind of like fulfill the TV trope, of giving her grief and, introducing a little bit of chaos into the family or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. The color purple is interesting because now that I think about it, she's been wearing purple throughout almost every single episode.
Yeah.
Agatha. Like the pants she was wearing that said naughty. I think that those were purple. Her brooch, I think, had a little bit of a purple hue on like the edge of it or whatever. Yeah, just, and even this episode she was wearing purple, I think. And,
yeah, and that's the interesting thing too. Wanda, when she's wearing a bathrobe, it has blues and purples on it.
Ooh. And,
and underneath it is her, later on, when she comes out to go into the basement to find the kids and stuff, she's wearing a hoodie that is mostly her red color. Mm-hmm. But it does have like a stripe around it with like a light blue and like a purple on the arms. So it's like, I don't know if that means she's breaking through those colors or if those are still controlling her because they're around her arms and kind of controlling her in a way, but she's trying to break through them with the fact that she's got the red on.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a lot of interesting little things. I mean, I just love the fact that everything can mean something or actually mean absolutely nothing.
Exactly. Well, that's what she says too in the show at one point. She's like telling her kids, like, I'm starting to believe that everything is meaningless.
Yeah.
And she's like, of course you're free to draw your own conclusions, but that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Purple kind of is connected to red a little bit, and I always red is kind of, this is just my own theory. It's not, I don't think anyone else has talked about this probably because it doesn't make any sense, but like, this is like one of my own personal theories that probably just only makes sense to me. But like, so red, I've always kind of, interpreted as being like a color of passion, almost a color of like raw power, energy. And purple, purple kind of has elements of red to it, but I always interpret purple to be more wisdom oriented. So Agatha, she's kind of like an ancient being. She's lived for like thousands of years. So like being purple could be like she's gone past the age where everything's just red and she's wise. She really knows how to perfect her magic in such a way that Wanda is not even close to being able to do, so like, Wanda right now is just like, almost like having fun with it, like, oh, I can make this thing turn here. And, Agatha's like, that's cute. How about this? I can like create an entire world, whatever. Like, and that spell book looks huge.
So just for fun here, I happen to have my encyclopedia of symbolism sitting on the table that I'm at.
Okay.
So purple may be associated with royalty, can relate to mystical or sacred vision, may represent an honor or privilege of the highest order, symbolic of spiritual development, can be associated with selflessness or personal suffering. A purple aura can correspond to spiritual power. Red can mean anger or rage, trouble or misunderstanding, associated with human lust and desire, identity or base creativity, associated with energy or power, the life force, see blood, corresponds to the first endocrine center of the chakra, and sexuality. Might be symbolic of evil or aggression. Metaphorically, she saw red. She was very angry. Metaphysically, associated with the planet Saturn, the first color of the rainbow corresponds to the first note of the musical scale, Do. Red, a red aura can correspond to anger, lust, or energy. Violet, which is also like purple, by the way, is associated with great spirituality or spiritual dedication. Usually considered the highest spiritual color. So that might mean she's a witch that has more power than the others.
Right,
associated with being at one with God. Or maybe the devil. Corresponds to the seventh endocrine center of the chakra, and perfect attunement and unity. Metaphysically associated with the planet Jupiter, the seventh color of the rainbow, corresponds to the seventh note of the musical scale, T. A violet aura can correspond to spiritual dedication or mastery. So,
yeah,
it's a lot to think about there. So,
yeah, well, I guess maybe my theory's not so far-fetched.
No, it's not at all.
I was just going based off like intuition here.
Yeah,
just because purple always does seem like a soothing color to me. It does kind of feel like wisdom. Because you think about Agatha, she walks down very calmly. Like, this is a woman that you could tell has an immense amount of knowledge and power, but because of that, she doesn't really need to flash it around like Wanda's been doing. And Wanda seems like she's playing around, she's figuring things out, she's having fun with it. Agatha's like, yeah, that stuff is, you're like an amateur to me. Like,
And, by the way, I just wanted to give a shout out here. This book is called The Encyclopedia of Symbolism by Kevin J. Tedeschi. So, yeah, look that up if you're interested. It's a really cool book. Especially if you're really into analyzing movies and TV. Like I am. That's when I bought it. I bought it when I was in a English class in college that was about studying film. So,
yeah. It's cool.
Which is good because I've read it cover to cover and has since ruined a lot of movies for me. But
well, that's true of most things in life. The more you learn about something, the more you see whole. Like,
start watching a movie and 5 minutes in, you're like, I know how this is going to end. I know who the bad guy is. I know, that guy's dead. Oh wait,
right?
Stuff like that. He's got superpowers. Okay, I get it. Yeah, no, that sort of thing. But anyways, anything else, Matt, before we wrap things up here?
No, just like I said last time, don't be a spy. Don't be a spy for a nefarious organization. Well, not what people claim might be a nefarious organization based on their own paranoia. Just, don't do it. There's other things in life to be other than a spy. You don't need to do that, especially if you're not getting paid. Why would you be a spy if you're not getting paid? It's just ridiculous. But,
you hear that, Jason Bourne? You hear that? Oh, wait.
Yeah, you hear that? Don't just figure out, go become a chef or a psychic, like in that one movie you were, or whatever. Whatever that movie was called.
I don't know. So
movie where he was a psychic and his brother set up a business and they made all kinds of money, but then he left it behind because he felt
Matt
that
Damon?
Matt Damon was in it. Yeah, he it came out in 2011 or something. He left it behind because he felt like he was actually ruining people's lives by telling them
I don't think I've seen this movie.
People from it was basically he could say he could talk to the dead is what it was and give them messages, but he felt like it was actually like ruining people's lives by doing that. So he just got a regular job, and his brother was pissed off because, you know, they made so much money doing his shit together, and his brother was like his manager or whatever. So now it's like, oh, my little brother's not making me millions anymore by his powers. So I'm pissed off at him and want him to go back to doing that so I can make more money off of him. And he like, I don't remember much about it, man. There was like a tsunami that happened at one point, like in India, and then like the woman who survived it, like she like had a dream that was going to happen or something, and then she was like a news reporter for some like big company in Britain, I think, and she was trying to tell them what happened, but they told her not to do it. Like, you're going to embarrass us if we start talking about, you know, psychic stuff. And it's totally a weird tangent, I know, guys. But like, so, but the British actually have a reason for being like that, because in the 90s there was this guy named David Icke who was actually a very popular sports announcer, like really popular, like kind of like Chris Berman, you know, in this country, or whoever. Like, what's the other dude? Ted Costa, what's his name? Something Costa, whatever. Anyway, he was like a big sports announcer, and I'm like falling here. Okay, so he was a big sports guy, and people used to tune in to watch them like do like what's the name of the, God damn it, it's a pool, but it's like a
billiards.
No, it was like a snooker. There we go. I'm like totally ruining the story. He would like do like the snooker highlights. That's like a form of billiards for like uptight British people to make them who think they're better than the rest of the world. So they kind of play like a fancy, different version of billiards or whatever. And like he would, sorry, that was kind of mean. And then he would like, he'd do that. And then like in 1990, he got it in his mind that he was like receiving visions from like the psychic world, and that like, he went to see like a psychic that was like actually meant to like help him with like his like knee pain or some shit. But then like she started giving him psychic messages, I guess, apparently from like the God realm or whatever. And then like she planted the idea to him that he was going to be like some big time prophet, which, mind you, she probably was only doing that so that he'd keep seeing her more in pain, but whatever. So, but he believed her, of course, because he wanted to believe her. And then he went on this show called the Terry Wogan Show. Terry Wogan was like a really popular TV host, kind of like a Phil Donahue type character, which I don't think anyone would know who that guy is anymore, but we do because we're older. But anyway, so like a Phil Donahue, Maury Povich. Again, I'm not helping myself with these names. You know, and then he had David Icke go on there to tell his story. By the way, David showed up wearing a all turquoise pantsuit, like a tracksuit for running, because he believed that the color turquoise was like the highest vibration of like positivity or whatever. So like he always wore turquoise all the time at that point. And then he's telling Terry Wogan all of his theories about how there's going to be all these earthquakes that are going to like devastate the world, which, you know, he's not really wrong about that. But, you know, you don't need to be a mystical prophet, new ager to know that. You just need to read a few basic science articles to understand that. So it doesn't mean that you're getting, you know, whisperings from the universe. That's, you know, that's why you know that. You just are able to read. But anyway, so he goes on and says, you know, that he's kind of like a godlike being, the son of the Godhead is what he said. Not son of God, son of the Godhead, because I guess he thought that would make it not sound as bad or whatever. And then they're like, oh, well, that means that you think you're a special type of being that's, I've been rambling all day today. Just, I don't know what's going on. My thoughts are just everywhere. So just bear with me, please, guys. So he's like, Terry Wogan's like, oh, so you think you're like a special kind of being and like everyone else is beneath you. And then David thought that he answered that good by saying, oh no, everyone is the children of the Godhead. It's just that some people are indirectly created by the Godhead, but then some people are direct creations of the Godhead, and then the other people are creations of that creation. It's like So ipso facto, you're saying that you're more important than everyone else. Like, I don't know how you thought that was a good answer. Because like, you're literally saying you are a direct creation of the Godhead, whereas the people beneath you were created by you. So how did you think that was good? Anyway, oh my God. So in relation to that, the people were like, no, you can't talk about psychic shit in a fictional movie. I'm not sure how I got to that. But culturally, that's why, because in the fictional universe, they knew about David Icke in that movie, I guess, too. And they were like, we're not going to have another David Icke on our hands because that like was like a national embarrassment to us.
Hereafter.
He was like,
Hereafter was the name of the movie.
Hereafter, that's what it was. Yeah.
I have yet to see it. I have not seen it, so.
It was not that bad of a movie, to be honest. But
well, it was directed by Clint Eastwood, and he's a good director, so that works.
Okay, yeah, he is. So anyway, they're like, no, you're not going to talk about psychic visions because we already had David Icke once, even though they didn't mention David Icke. But that's what in my mind, that's who they were referring to. Like, no, he embarrassed us with his turquoise tracksuit and talked about being the Godhead sons and all this kind of shit. And, you know, we're not going to have you embarrass us by talking about psychic visions. But then she's like, no, fuck you. I'm going to write a book about my experience. And then somehow either she had a psychic vision of the guy, Matt Damon, or Matt Damon had a psychic vision of her. And they're like, oh, we got to meet up somehow. So then like they had like a sort of meet cute type of thing. Although I don't think they ended up dating each other later on. But like it was kind of like a psychic meet cute, I guess if you will. And then they're like, oh, I'm ruining. Sorry, I'm like spoiling the whole movie for you.
Maybe we should stop then, so I can watch it.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I don't know how I got onto that. I've been random.
It's all good. It's all good, man. It's all good.
I was talking to one of my friends today on the phone for 80 minutes, and I literally just like rambled from one like just string of consciousness thought to another. I mean, it was like, it's weird. I'm not even doing drugs. So I have no idea why, you know, this is happening to me. But, so.
It happens.
Maybe I should. Maybe that will, like, actually center me a little bit. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyways, before we go here, if you, enjoyed this episode and you enjoy our banter, you may want to check out, our other episodes, that are not about WandaVision. We have, the latest episode that we had released, this past week was our look at the direct-to-video sequel, Road Trip Beer Pong. Yeah, we recorded that quite a while ago, finally released it. I forgot that I had that banked in the system, so I finally released it this week. Yeah, that was a fun movie.
Yep.
For better or worse. But, you know, if you enjoy fun banter like that, or you enjoy interviews that we have, like our latest one that was with Rennie Temple a week or two ago, and we had one with Jonah Ray recently. A lot of cool interviews that we've had over the recent weeks. Hopefully we'll have more coming up. I'm doing an interview soon for a podcast called the Nerdball Podcast, so we'll see how that goes. Anyways, be sure to subscribe to our show. Working on it. It's not up yet, but we got All2ReelToo.com coming up soon. Check out our Patreon. Check out our TeePublic. Different ways that you can help support the show. You know, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to message me at mike@cullenpark.com. If you have any thoughts on WandaVision and want those shared on future episodes, that's a good way to get a hold of me. Make sure you check out Matt's music.
Oh yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Also, one more thing. Is it okay if I mention something?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. I was about to do this last week and I forgot. So, there's a guy named Jason Quick. He was my guitar teacher for a while when I was like 14, whatever. He taught me for a few years. He's a jazz guitarist, and he's got a new album coming out. I should have prepared for this actually because I don't know the name of it. But so it's like called the Jason Quick Quartet, I think is the name of his band.
I will link it in the show notes too, so that'll help.
Yeah,
out.
because
so, yeah.
I'm blanking on he might have it here actually on the on his page. it's like, it's something to do with like, rent, what is it? Yeah, it's called, Low Rent Space is the name of the album. It's by the Quick Quartet, and it's, going to be released on April 1st. And, it's basically jazz guitar, but it's, it's not just guitar centered. I mean, it's the rest of the band. He's got a drummer. He's got like an upright bass player. I think there's a guy playing trumpet. There might be a guy playing the mandolin or violin. I'm not sure exactly which. He's released a few albums, with various different bands. I think one was called the Quick Trio. This one's Quartet. And it's not like strict jazz. I mean, like he'll throw in like some other styles here and there, like maybe a little bit of blues or maybe like it's basically it's not like how you would imagine like all jazz is going to be like totally technical, like only like music aficionados would appreciate it type of thing. Like he has a way of being able to kind of make it just mainstream enough to kind of get like a wider appeal, but not to the point where he kind of loses like the integrity of what he's trying to do, which is a very difficult thing to do for any musician or any creative person for that matter. It's very that's a very tight balance to kind of perfect, to do that. But he manages to do it. So yeah, it's called A Low Rent Space. I mean, I haven't heard it, but I've have all of his other records he has, and they're all pretty good, really, to be honest.
Yeah, you can find that at his Bandcamp website. I'll link that in the show notes. Yeah, and it's the Quick Quartet is the name of the band. So Low Rent Space by Quick Quartet.
And also too, and his website is also Jason Quick Music, and it'll also take you to like basically like a sales, not a sales pitch, but like a whatever he calls it, advertisement for the record or whatever.
Yeah, and you can pre-order. Pre-order it now. So yeah, do that.
Yeah, do it. If you like free jazz, bebop, and some other categories with great melodic music, his new music is fun to listen to and makes the toe tap. Well, who wouldn't want to tap the toes? So you'd be crazy to not do that. And
if your toes are tapping on their own and you have no control over it, though, you might want to see a doctor.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, there might be a serious problem going on, but
yeah,
you might want to get that checked out.
Anyways, we should probably wrap things up here. My name is Michael E. Cullen II. That was Matthew Haas. And I don't know why I'm telling you our names again. But anyways, be sure to check in with us again sometime. I'm getting kind of loopy here. And wear a mask, people. Wear a condom.
Wear a condom as a mask.
Yes, do that too. I don't know if that would work though. That might constrict your breathing. So don't do that.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah. So anyways,
wear a condom on your face and then a mask on you. Sorry.
On your genitals. Yes. Okay. Anyways, so, don't listen to us. We're not doctors.
No.
Be safe, be good, be kind, rewind. Okay. Anyways, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All2ReelToo podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Haas. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.